Exactly, and that has to be the attitude for these last three games. We focus on ourselves because I know that, we've seen the news, oh, Rotherham have changed their manager bounce, and we can put all these negative thoughts in our mind. But actually, it's about what we do
Yeah.
that's
Also,
actually really
if
important.
manager bounces was real, Blues would be playing Champions League football. We've had 6 managers this season. We'd
And also,
be getting promoted. So welcome back to Small Heath Alliance FC. And on Saturday, Birmingham City travelled to Rotherham in an absolutely crucial game for the Blues. Now, unfortunately, Rotherham have already been relegated down to League One, and Blues, we're coming off that fantastic 3-0 home win against Coventry, and we really want to keep that momentum going and hopefully bring all 3 points back. But it's going to be a very difficult and challenging game. We're going to get straight into it and cover all the key details, some player stats, and what our predictions are for the game. So, Dad, I'm going to hand it straight over to you. What are your initial thoughts for the game on Saturday?
well, the simple answer to your question about what do I think, it's for us a must-win game, and I think that that's a term that's bandied around a lot. Must-win, isn't it? But it really is for us. We've got 3 games left now, and this is the first of them. And I think it's really important that we win because when we go into the Huddersfield game the following week, we need to be above them. So we do need to win this game, but I'm sure you probably appreciate that this is not going to be an easy game just because they're relegated. It's going to be a tough game, and also as well today they sacked their manager and have appointed Steve Evans back in charge. So all of the things that I've been looking at in terms of their style of play go out the window because we're going to have to try now and work out what Steve Evans is going to do. So I think that this game in particular is going to be a lot tougher than we think. And in a minute, I'm going to share with you some really surprising stats that you might not know about Rotherham this season,
Okay.
which will have hopefully focus on the fact that it really isn't going to be an easy game. So what do you think, Matt? What do you think about the game?
I think exact same as you. It is a must-win game, but I feel like we've been saying that for the past 2 or 3 months now, haven't we? The must-win games keep rolling on, but we really are in crunch time now with these final 3 games. And Rotherham, just because they're relegated, they're not going to roll over for us.
No, of
They're
course not.
going to give us an extremely difficult game. And I've said this on the podcast a few times, and I'm sure Blues fans, if you've been following the club for a decent amount of time, you'll appreciate this comment. This is the kind of game Blues would typically mess up, isn't it? Just traditionally,
Absolutely.
historically.
Yeah.
And there's been some Blues fans on Twitter that've been making me laugh. They'll be like, we're going to lose to Rotherham, draw to Huddersfield, and then we'll go and beat Norwich on the last game of the season at home. As in, there's all these people on social saying what kind of club Blues typically are in these scenarios.
Yeah, that's sort of like imagine what the actual results will actually be, then think of the complete opposite, and that's what Blues will do. We did say when we did the preview for Coventry that we didn't expect very much, but anything can happen, and Blues did what we didn't expect. Actually trounced Coventry. You'd never have believed that was possible.
No.
So, it is one of those things.
And if we turn up like we did against Coventry, same formation, same grit and determination, chances going forward, I have no doubt we can go there and get 3
We'll
points
win.
this week.
If we play like that against Coventry, we will beat Rotherham.
Like we did against
But
Coventry.
if we turn up like we did against Cardiff, we'll lose.
100%, yeah, absolutely.
And that's the dilemma, isn't it? And those stats I was telling you about Rotherham, which I only found out through research. Let's just talk a little bit about Rotherham so we understand. Obviously, they've had a
Before we do go into Rotherham, can I just say, because you mentioned about their new manager bounce,
Yeah.
I think if I'm Gary Rowett and I'm the players, I need to block out that noise. Ignore Rotherham, ignore what's going on. We need to stick to our game. As Blues, nothing changes. When Rowett's doing his training, when the players are getting ready, nothing changes. We need to concentrate on us. We need to get our game plan ready, and we need to continue the momentum from the Coventry game. So fair enough, they might have a new manager. Nothing changes. Let's block out the noise and let's turn up with a cracking performance.
Well, exactly, and that has to be the attitude for these last 3 games. We focus on ourselves because I know that we've seen the news. Oh, Rotherham have changed their manager bounce, and we can put all these negative thoughts in our mind. But actually, it's about what we do.
Yeah.
That's
Also,
actually really important.
if manager bounces was real, Blues would be playing Champions League football. We've had 6 managers this season. We'd be getting promoted. Sorry.
And also as well, it always seems that we seem to be playing teams after they've just changed their managers away. So it's been very much like that this season. But let me give you some stats about Rotherham. Will demonstrate to us that at home, even though they're bottom of the league, they're not an easy team to play. Clearly, they are bottom of the league by a long way, and they've had a really poor season. There's absolutely no argument with that. In the last 10 games, they've won 1, drawn 1, and lost 8. So their current form is not very good. And we have won 2, drawn 1, lost 7 of our last 10. So it's 2 teams that are not in great form. But these are the stats that really surprised me. Did you know that they are the 9th there's only 9 teams that have conceded more goals at home than them
Interesting.
in the whole of the championship. So they don't concede many goals at home, and also as well, if you look at their losses at home, they've lost 10 home games, okay, but every single game have been tight. In fact, every single game has been one goal apart from 2 fixtures, which is 2-0 against West Bromwich Albion and Southampton. So they're a good side at home in terms of they're tight and compact and they don't concede many goals. So this isn't going to be a goal
Well,
fest.
they've beat Millwall at home. They've beat Coventry at home. You know, decent,
Norwich as well.
Norwich at home, like some very decent teams. So Rotherham are absolutely no pushovers. And as you
The-
say, because when I say that we can go there and get 3 points, I'm not talking 2-0, 3-0, 4-0. I'm talking one. We're going to come away with a 1-0 win, maybe a 2-0 absolute max. I don't think we're going to score many goals. I think it's going to be such a close, cagey game. And there's no doubt about it. Blues are going to go into this with confidence off the back of the 3-0 against Coventry, but it'll still be on the players' minds that we're in a relegation battle and a scrap. So there's going to be some nerves naturally around the pitch. So hopefully they settle as quickly as we can and we really grow into the game. But this is going to be a tough game. And exactly why I reference such a low-scoring game is because they're not it's difficult to say not a bad home side when they've already been relegated to League One at this point. But, they are capable of putting in good performances and they don't concede many goals at home.
It's just a very compact side at home, you can
Yeah.
tell that, but they only lose by small margins. Also, as well, they were playing under Liam Richardson a 5-3-2 formation, which is quite defensive and then counter-attacking. Now that Steve Evans has taken over, I had a quick look today because obviously I thought, well, what type of formation does Steve Evans favour? And he prefers a 3-4-1-2 or a 4-3-1-2. So that's obviously a good, strong, solid defence, but also the ability to create space and to attack in transition. Now that I think that would be better for us because I think if he was playing under a 5-3-2, it's almost like a bigger door to break down. But when a team is playing 3-4-1-2 and they want to try and catch us on the break, a little bit like a Coventry style type of formation, that gives us space that we can open them up as well. So I think that Steve Evans will automatically try and impose his formation on them.
I think psychologically as well, they can afford to be more attacking because they've got nothing to lose. So, as in, they're already relegated, aren't they? I mean, I know they're playing for pride and, they don't want to get turned over. But actually, in those scenarios, they're dangerous teams to play because there is literally nothing to lose from them. So they can, if they want to, if Steve Evans wants to push the boat out and try a few more attacking options or try a few little presses and counters and stuff, he can try that because effectively, they are down. So they're difficult teams to play against sometimes. And I tell you why this is going to be a difficult game for Blues, Dad, and I think you'll agree with this, is that we are better on the back foot and we're better out of possession because they're the kind of players that we've brought, and we are quite a defensive team by nature because we were set up with Eustace's transfers in the summer. So these players are used to playing out of possession. So when we get more possession in games, we almost don't know what to do with it, do we? We saw it against Millwall. They gave us a lot more of the ball at the Den. We've seen it against other teams as well where we get more of the ball and we just look a little bit more lost in the final third because the players aren't used to being on the ball so much, maybe. I don't know what it is. So I think, and I got the stat here, they average this season 35% possession. That's got to be one of the lowest in the league. So we're going to get a lot more of the ball this Saturday. So, however, if we can utilise the ball like we did against Coventry, Tyler Roberts picking in the channels and Keshi Anderson, I think we'll be fine. But I'm just raising that fact that historically Blues this season with this team and the setup, we don't do great when we actually get more. It's weird, isn't it? It's almost in reverse.
I think now it's a confidence thing, isn't it? And I think they can take a lot of confidence from the performance against Coventry. They know that they can play like that now. And like we said in the post-match Coventry video, they set the bar that they can't fall below now. And absolutely no doubt, if we play like we did against Coventry, we will beat Rotherham. If we play like that, and that's what the players have got to aspire to do. If I'm a Rotherham player, I'm now thinking, well, okay, we've been relegated. We've got a new manager. I want to impress him. I'll be thinking, well, I want to sort of forge a place for me next season. He might try players that maybe been on the fringes. I don't know, but they have got something to play for. They're not completely going to lie down and let us walk all over them. So I think that they will have a motivation to do well. But I don't think if we play to our top quality, they'll have enough to beat us. Again, looking at Blues as well, you look at our away record, it's terrible. 3 wins, 3 draws, and the rest are defeats in the whole season. That really is terrible, isn't it? But we've almost got to sort of not throw away home form, sort of balance it out and actually realise that there's literally 3 games. All of them are cup finals. We won our first one against Coventry. We have 4. We've now got 3. And if we can beat Rotherham and then go into the Huddersfield game above them, which we will if we beat Rotherham, that gives us a real big psychological boost going into that game. And again, we will come on to that game when we come to it next week. But I think if we beat Rotherham and we to get a draw, not lose against Huddersfield, I think that'll set us up quite well.
Yeah.
Players for Rotherham, I did have a quick look at their players. There's a few players to watch. There's a defensive midfield called Hakeem Odafin. He's got 4 goals. A big tall player. Tom Eaves, centre forward, 4. Jordan Hugel, 3. I don't know if any of these will be playing or if they're injured, by the way, but these are the ones that I picked as possible dangers.
They've got 7 players on the injury table for us this weekend, which is really interesting. I'm not going to list them all because
Is it any of the ones that I've just named?
No, not that I saw. It looks like they. However, I looked at how they set up in their last game, and I didn't see Hakeem Odafin on in the team sheet. So that was interesting. So I don't know whether he's coming back from an injury or whether he was resting or
okay.
Who knows? But they have got 7 players on the injury table, and I picked up on that. I've got here Tom Eaves and Hakeem Odafin joint on 4. But what I also noticed was, when you look at other teams, Smodics 25 goals, Whittaker 15 goals. There's no big goal scorer in there. It's just 4s, 3s, 2s, 1s, and I guess that paints a picture of why they're in the position that they're in because they haven't got massive amounts of goal power. So it's more 4s, 2, 1s sort of spread across the team, which I thought was really interesting as well. But Rotherham are the classic yo-yo Championship to League One team. I mean, listen to this. This is really fascinating as well. 2016-17, relegated from the Championship to League One. 17-18, promoted back. 18-19, relegated. 19-20, promoted. 2021, relegated. 21-22, promoted. And then they stayed in the Championship for 2 seasons, and now they've just got relegated again this season. I mean, if that doesn't define yo-yo club,
that is the ultimate yo-yo club. That is, isn't it? It really is. So tough game, but I think Blues. I think we'll. Almost certain, bar touch wood, we haven't got any injuries. It'll be exactly the same starting lineup again.
Should we remind ourselves of that? So, so Robert set us up in a 4-2-3-1, and he played Ruddy at the back. He had Buchanan, Sanderson, Bielek, and Laird at the back. Paik and Sunjic in midfield. Then Anderson, Roberts, and Miyoshi in the attacking 3, feeding into Stansfield. And what a difference it made. We really were on top.
I think as well. The putting Bielek as centre half, I just feel it makes us a much more solid and balanced team. And also because Bielek has now come back at centre half, it's freed up the midfield so that we can obviously play Sunjic, who had an excellent game.
He did.
Absolutely excellent game against Coventry. And I think that's what we're going to need, that battling midfielder in there alongside Paik, who's much more creative. So it worked really well. So I think he'll start with the same lineup. Obviously, we'll have the likes of probably Bakuna, Dembele, JJ, all on the bench. So we have got options to come on if we need them. Pritchard and Drama will be interesting if they're back on the bench because they were both not on the bench for the.
Don't touch them. Why change it?
I'm talking about the bench. I'm talking about the bench because you don't know what he's going to do on the bench. But
leave that starting 11 exactly the same as we did against. Please, Gary Rowett. Why not? Why?
I don't know about you, Matt, but I mean, I'm sort of going into a game for the first time in quite a while, pretty confident that if we play like that, we can actually win.
But the key that you just said is if we play like that, and we don't know what Blues team turns up from week to week a lot of the time, do we? We put an absolute blinder in, and then we're rubbish, then a blinder, then a bit of a consistent bad patch, and then we're great again. So, but this is the first time I think Rowett's got the formation he likes, the players he likes, and I think something differently clicked against Coventry. We looked like a completely different team in a good way.
Yeah.
So I think hopefully that gave the players a bit of a confidence boost. Hopefully that gave the players the drive they need now to realise actually we're in this battle here and we need to get out of it. And because, Dad, me and you have been saying with the Cardiff game especially, the lack of passion, the lack of drive. Hopefully now that has kicked them up the bum and we keep pushing. And I'm with you. I am thinking a Blues win, but I'm thinking a very low scoring game. In fact, I'm going to go for a 1-0 Blues. I really do think it's going to be tight.
Well, I've gone 2-1.
Okay.
I've gone 2-1. And, as a final point from me, it really is important that we win this game. If we don't win this game, we lose or we draw it. It puts an enormous amount of pressure on us. But I think Huddersfield have got Swansea, so you've got to expect the teams around us to pick up points now as well. Yeah, so it really is a must win.
2 key points for me, and then I'll close the video off. And that was, one, I agree, Bielek at the back makes the whole team structure more stable for me. He just fills me with more confidence. The team seem a little bit more settled. And I think the key to unlocking Rotherham and scoring some goals is going to be Tyler Roberts. Just coming off the back of the Coventry game, he was fantastic.
Wouldn't it be great if he could score as well?
I'd love him to score.
Once that pressure's off his back, I think we're going to see a completely different player.
I mean, but he's playing attacking mid, not striker. So, he's not going to get massive amounts of goal-scoring opportunities. But if he keeps assisting like he did against the Coventry game, I'll be buzzing with that.
Yeah.
If Tyler Roberts doesn't score for the rest of the season, but he sets picked up another 3, 4, 5 goals. Brilliant. Job done.
Yeah,
I'll be happy with that.
yeah.
But before I close, any sort of final thoughts or from you from the game on Saturday?
No, just the we know now we're on last chance saloon, last 3 games. Now this is the third last game of the season, and we really are in a position. We did a fantastic job against Coventry. We got ourselves out the bottom 3. We put it in back into our hands, and we've got to keep it in our own hands. So Blues players, if any of you are watching this, same again, please, same effort, same desire, and same battle as well. Because these types of clubs might require us to fight a little bit as well. They might be quite physical, but just bring those 3 points home. That's my only message to the Blues players, really.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree. We just had our thoughts about the game on Saturday, but as always, we'd love to hear from you. Me and Dad love going through the comments that you send when you engage with the channel and trying to get round to those as many as we can and as quickly as we can. So please let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are about the game. If you like the video, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Always helps with the algorithm so we can keep delivering the best and latest Blues content to you all. And if you haven't already, please check us out on our social media channels. The X and the Instagram handle are popping up on screen right now. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any future content all about Birmingham City. And me and Dad will see you on the next video.